Good evening, everybody. We're glad that you can make this special session for elite umpires. We, as a state staff, decided that we would wanted to have a special session for our elite umpires. It's something that has been put down on our recommendations and suggestions for when we've been meeting in state clinics in person. They wanted to have a session for our upper echelon umpires. As we have told you before, you folks are our best, the best of the best. You are also the future. In some cases, you are the future, and some of you are the present. But what this session is going to be going over is basically what we expect out of an elite umpire. We're going to ask you folks what you expect out of an elite umpire, and then we're going to go over a couple plays, and there's going to be a couple pictures also of basically what we would look at as far as if this was an elite umpire. As Ross did say, we are going to ask for participation because we want to get your folks' feelings on what you feel is our elite umpire. So, and I know there are some people on this call right now that are not elite, but they are interested in becoming an elite umpire, and that's why they're on here. So for the folks that are the veteran umpires that are elite already, share what your knowledge with them, share how you got to this spot as far as being an elite and what you looked at coming up as far as an umpire and going to the elite status. So, okay. So Ross, we'll go ahead and we can flip the next slide, please. Basically, in our elite umpires in by category, you can see on the screen there, we have a total of 46 umpires that are elite. Active elite umpires right now, we have 27. Fast pitch, of course, we have a little bit more because I think it's just the way it works out. We have had more opportunities in the fast pitch game along than we have in the slow pitch or the modified. The good part is that out of our numbers that we have there, we still have a lot that are active, 27 active elite umpires, and hopefully we can build that number up this coming year. Go ahead, Ross. These are the ones that we have right now with the fast pitch. I believe this is the fast pitch side of it. The asterisks, the single asterisks is the ones that are inactive right now. And if you see a double asterisk, that means that they have passed away. Also keep in mind with this, there's a couple names that you probably don't see on there as far as being elite umpires. One of them that would stand out would be Bill Humphrey. Before we were all ISF umpires, which made that we were International Softball Federation. Then USA Softball went to the elite status. You could get grandfathered in. At that point, Bill was at a point that he didn't want to be basically grandfathered in to be elite, so he did not apply to do this. If you will also see, there's a couple names on here with Jason Jahoski and Rick Havercroft. Those, and the other one is Ted Germain. Those three individuals were and are modified and fast pitch elite. So we get double standards with that. Here we are with the modified. The modified, as you can tell, we've had a good basis with that, and it helps when we have the modified tournament in our backyard or in a neighboring state like Wisconsin. Slow pitch, once again, we are well represented at the level of slow pitch with our umpires, and we hope to add a couple more to that also. There is one that I apologize, Ryan. I do not see your name on there, and we will have to add that to our list. I took this off the current USA Softball page, and apparently they have not updated that part of it yet. So I apologize, Ryan. We do not have your name on there. So we should have 15 qualified with 9 active on that. So
because he's a rookie.
Notice that. So
Bernadette Aaron's also missing on fast pitch.
She is, but the situation is with that, Mike, is that she got her elite through Metro Detroit, so it does not count with us. If that makes sense to you.
It makes sense, but isn't she registered with us?
She dual registers, but she applied for her elite status through Metro Detroit. So that's how it's listed on the website, and that's how it's counted for Metro Detroit instead of ours. So
it's like a football player that goes into the Hall of Fame. They can only have one uniform displayed.
Right. So.
She picked the wrong one.
So, all right. So now this is what do you think makes an elite umpire? And I believe, Ross, you have another sentence that goes with that. What do you think makes an elite umpire? So this is one of the things that I'm going to throw out to, and actually just a minute, I'm going to pull this up here because I want to pull out somebody that's not elite already. So let's go with Mike Baker. Tell me what you think makes an elite umpire.
On the field.
On or off the field?
Mike, you just want mute.
Mike?
I said on and off the field professionalism.
Okay, thank you. Arthur Jones, how about what you think makes a elite umpire?
Knowing all the rules in the book.
Okay, and that's a heavy task, knowing all the rules there. So, and I'll go right back to Ryan. Ryan, when you were not an elite umpire at that point, what did you think would make an elite umpire?
Oh, there's a lot. It's how you I would start off by representing yourself and on how you present yourself to your peers, the ball teams, the managers, the complex that you're at. I mean, it starts right there. And then it begins on how you present your look, your mannerisms, everything. There's a whole lot that goes into it. I can list them all day long. It's just, but number one, it starts with me on how you present yourself when you first get out of your vehicle.
Okay, good. Go on to the next sentence that we have there, Ross.
A Zoom meeting the wrong way. You also praise some of the policies.
Okay. I think we've already covered some of the response that we had by the district participants. Actually, what I'm going to go back to now is go into, Gary, I know you're on. Gary, as far as being an elite umpire, what did you look for as far as elite umpires?
A leader.
Very strong. As long as you're right there, Joe Van Dam, go ahead and do you have anything that you want to add to that?
No, I think it's been pretty much covered.
Okay. We're going to go over a few other things here that what we think as far as the state staff makes an elite umpire. So we'll go into that here. Go ahead, Ross. This is basically what we looked at is an elite umpire is someone who has excelled at the highest level of competition. So like we said, we have a few individuals that have made both modified and fast pitch and elite. So they have excelled at the highest level of competition in both those games. It's also somebody who is considered a leader among their peers on and off the field, is knowledgeable of rules, mechanics, and positioning. And this is one of the things that we look at. You go into the rule book and you find the rules that you need to look for. If there's a question among other individuals that are not quite to the level that you're at as an elite umpire, give them a chance to go in the book and find where that is. Work on your mechanics. For the people that work multiple organizations such as the NCAA and USA Softball, when you're working USA Softball, we want and we need and you must work the USA Softball mechanics because you're being watched by your peers. Positioning, work on the positioning of that. The other thing we look at is it can train and teach newer or veteran umpires. And what we mean by that is basically if you can train a new umpire and get them to the level that they can understand what they're supposed to do on the field. Or it may be a situation with a veteran umpire. How do you relate to that veteran umpire who has been working for a few years and you're working with them and now you need to train them on something? How do you relate to them? Those are what we look at. What do we look for in an elite umpire? Field presence. This is somebody that when they walk on the field, they're basically act like they want to be there. They basically are interested in the game. and they're basically give a presence on the field that they're ready there to do something that night, do what they're supposed to do. The other thing is, the second thing that Ross has on there is field awareness. This is knowing what is happening on the field with not only just the ball players, what's happening with your partners on certain plays. Are they going to be in the right position? When the play actions starts, are they going to be in the spot that they need to be in? If they're not, can we make the adjustment to get them to that spot, or can we fill up that gap? And also, it also takes into effect what is going on outside of the field, such as in the dugout area, or maybe in the bullpens areas and like that. You have to keep that and aware of what's going on too. The next thing that we have is mechanics and positioning. Of course, this is primary basically, and one of the things that we look at in an elite umpire. If we show up to a field and we see an umpire that is not working the proper mechanics or not in the proper position, the first thing that comes to our mind is, if this person is going for elite, we are probably going to say, no, this person is not an elite umpire. I will also let you know that when you get to be an elite umpire, one of the things that you have to work on is knowing the 3-umpire system. We have umpires that work at the national level that do not understand the 3-umpire system. So when it comes time for their application for elite, that's one of the things I will look at on how they've done in tournaments that I've been a UIC at, and I have declined a couple elite applications at the national level from the standpoint of knowing that these people did not understand the 3-umpire system, and they did not work into the final days because of their lack of the knowledge of the 3-umpire system. You're looked up to, you're respected. You're respected by your peers, you're respected by the coaches and the players, basically with this, and by the actions that you do on and off the field. You have to have a game knowledge. You have to understand what's going to happen during that game. If say, for instance, you're going out and you know you've got the first and second place teams that night in the game of slow pitch on league night, you know it's going to be intense, so you have to be ready for it. Or even if you have the last two teams in the league, last place teams, you have to be aware of what could happen with that too. It could get a little feisty, especially if it's towards the end of the year, somebody doesn't want to go over. This is the other thing that we look at is excellence. You take no time off. Basically, once you become an elite umpire or getting to that elite status, you are being watched by your peers. You're being watched by other UICs and so forth. You're being watched. So if you have a night that you go out to the field and you think, well, I've got 2 easy teams, I'm not going to give everything that I have. And I will tell you, I can ask everybody in this room that basically what's going to happen is that's the night that things blow up on you. So the other thing, you never know when somebody might be sitting in a parking lot as a UIC for the local area, or maybe it's a UIC from a different area that happens to be driving by and decides to take watch a ball game in the parking lot from their cars and watching the umpires who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's amazing when you talk to the umpire the next day, they're going, I didn't do that. But you can tell that they know that they were caught. So
If it takes no time off, that doesn't mean that you don't take care of your family obligations and have a night off once in a while. That, as Brian said, that just means that you're not turning it on and turning it off based on who's watching.
I have not figured out how an umpire can basically turn it off at some times and then basically turn it back on when they have the so-called big games. As the coaches will tell you, every game is important. And that's basically what we have to look at when we're out there. Every game is important because that, for some people, that could be what they're going to remember is how the umpire was that night. Take charge, and basically I put on here when the fun begins. That means that when you have the players are getting a little bit out of control, take the time to get them back into control. Take the time to basically take charge at that point and take control back of the game and go into when the fun begins. Help out your partners. This is, I think we talked about this before, but I'm gonna bring it up again. There's a reason why you are on certain games. It may not be the championship ball game. It may not be what you feel is a big game, but yet there's a reason why you're out there. You're out there to help out your other umpires and help out maybe the less experienced umpires. So when we put you out there and the fun begins and you just stand back and see what your partners can do, then that basically reflects back on you also. You're out there to give experience, you're out there to take charge, and you're out there to show the example of other umpires what you can do, especially when you're an elite umpire. Go ahead, Ross.
Brian,
Yes.
Jim has his hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
I'm a little bit offended that you took time to talk about we need to worry about UICs from our district or for some other district that might be stopping by your field to see if you're doing things right. If I took time to worry about what somebody else was doing, I'd be taking time away from worrying about what I was doing. And that seems like a total waste of time and energy for me. I look in the mirror when I want to know if I'm doing things right. It's the first
Well,
and
then-
only thing that counts.
You hit it right on the nose there, Jim, and that's one of the reasons why you're an elite umpire. The other thing is we have umpires that basically are trying to get to the elite that I have showed up in the parking lot, and then I watch them work, and that's what I went to with that point. You never know when somebody's watching you, and you make up a good point there. That's one of the things that you have to do is you have to look in the mirror and then say, okay, this is the game I needed to do. This is what I need to do with my game and so forth, and understand that. And that somebody asked me one time about because they weren't getting key games or so forth. And I says, basically, go back to your evaluations. Also look yourself in the mirror and see if you're doing what people have told you that you need to work on. And that's a big key there. So thanks for the comment there. I would, don't take it as offensive, but take it as a point that people are watching you on the field and you should be working all the time on your game. So, okay.
Sometimes I think the problem with looking in the mirror is that we only see what we want to see. So sometimes it takes that other perspective of someone else watching so we know what they're seeing as well.
Okay. This is a thing here too, training and more training. You folks, we've attended a lot of the training sessions that we've had. There's a few of you that even though you're elite or, at the top part of your game, you're attending clinics, you're attending national schools, you're attending extra training sessions. And that's basically what it is. The other umpires that see an elite umpire at these sessions go, wow, this person's done it all, but yet they're still here learning. So that's a good thing for us. I put this part in here and misspelled it. Ross, you didn't catch that. Anyhow, the key is here is this word is supposed to be a disappointment. I think all of us at a point when we've tried to reach the upper echelon or try to be an elite umpire, we've been disappointed one way or another. It might have been disappointed because we didn't get the big tournament. We didn't get a chance to go to a national tournament when we thought we were ready. We didn't get the carrot at the end of the stick or so forth like that. We didn't get that. So what did we do with that? We could have just basically gave up and said, we're not going to do anything anymore. Or we went back and made us work harder. So I think all of us that have reached an elite status and are going for that status, basically at one time or another have been disappointed in assignments that we've been received, but then we worked harder to get to that level that we wanted to be. So that's basically knowing and studying the game. We can know the game, but also study the situations. Study what's going to happen. If you're in a fast pitch game and they're down by a run, are they going to be bunting, especially in the JO game? Is it in a slow pitch game? You look at it and say, okay, we've got a rabbit at first base. We know that if this ball goes in the gap, they're going to try to score. There's also, you look at, if you watch the game before you see what's going on in the men's fast pitch games. There was a team that played up in northern Michigan there. They had a set play that they would do for pickoff plays. At second base, if single runner would get caught sleeping at that because the ball would get lobbed back to the pitcher in one motion would throw it right to the second baseman, and the runner was basically off guard. And caught a couple umpires sleeping on that too. So you have to understand what is their key that they're going to be doing that with. Knowing and studying the game is a big part of what we need to do to get to the next level we want to be at. Dedication, this is something too. If you want to get to that point, You're going to have to dedicate some time to get to that spot. It's not something we can do overnight. It's going to take some time. And you have to basically, the other thing probably we should have put in here is ask questions. What do I need to improve at my game? It was popped right up there. Working at our game, working at the point that we need to improve this. It's nothing, don't feel bad or don't feel like, that you have everything down, but something's just not right. Ask questions. Ask, why am I not seeing a pitch on the outside part of the plate in the fast pitch game? Or what is happening here? What can I do better to judge the 6 and 12 or 6 and 10, 6 and 10 in the game of slow pitch? So the other thing is having confidence in your game. This is going out on the field and knowing that, hey, you have to be confident in what you're doing out there. And this comes from experience. It comes from being on the field. Let's face it, as we all get ready to start this season, there's going to be a little bit of a lack of confidence on it. Wow, can I still get to the same spot I need to get to? Can I really, is everything and ready to go until that first pitch comes out, and then it just flows. It's just like riding a bicycle. So this is our play one on here. Ross, I'll have you put it up on the screen, and then I'll have everybody read it, and then we'll talk about it. So to start with, we have less than 2 outs. We're gonna have a runner at first base. The runner leaves base after the pitch is released. This is, of course, could be fast pitch or slow pitch. There's gonna be a pop foul approximately 15 feet from and behind first base in foul territory. U1 chases and makes the out call on fly ball. The ball is thrown now to first base for a live ball appeal on the runner. What are the responsibility and who has the live ball appeal at first base? And I think that was it, the last line, right, Ross?
Yes.
So take a minute, read that over, and then I'm going to call on a couple people and we'll go from there. So, okay.
Remember, it's a 3 umpire system.
And the other thing is to keep in mind too, we are also going to be going, this is by the manual. So if everybody's had a chance to read it, Jason Jahoski, you are the plate umpire. What is going to be your responsibility on this?
Give me 1 second, please.
Okay, sure. Sorry.
I was just drawing it out here.
Okay. And I will, I'm gonna get you a base umpire. So Mike Almack, you're the base umpire.
Lucky me.
I know.
Which one of them? There's 2.
You get to be U1.
Okay.
And Matt Salisbury, you get to be U3.
So I'm gonna.
Well, wait a minute. I didn't call on you yet.
Well, okay, never mind.
Waiting for the plate umpire to come back.
Responsibilities. Okay,
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead, Jason. What would you do in this situation? What are your responsibilities?
My responsibility is 15 from behind first base foul territory. Okay, my responsibility is to follow or is to watch the batter runner and also watch in case my umpire at first needs any assistance from what they've called, but my responsibility is not the play at first base.
Okay. So that is good. Mike Almack, you are U1. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna turn and go probably up the foul line so that I get an angle, not go directly at the pop foul and the runner or the fielder. Get an angle on the foul ball. And once it's caught, make the out call and take a look back. I'm not going back inside, but I'm going to take a look back in case they need help in there.
Okay, so you would, you're going to turn as the ball goes back towards first base, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And Matt, you are U3. So what is your responsibility going to be?
Well, as soon as U1 chases, now we revert to the 2 umpire system. So I'm going to go into the infield button hook, watch that play at 1. And if there is a live ball appeal, then it's my job to make that call.
Okay, that's very good. I think you guys nailed everything there we needed to talk about. So Thank you very much.
Whose
Any
call would
questions on
that
that play?
Whose call would it be if it was a dead ball appeal? Matt?
Oh,
Well, it's still mine if I'm coming in. I'm the one watching that play at first base, watching the runner, watching the play. So it doesn't matter if it's live ball or dead ball, it's still me.
Yeah, I just added the live ball in there just for the, to make it so they were basically throwing the ball back. So any questions from anybody in regards to this play?
Why isn't anybody calling their runner out for leaving early?
Now, they left after the pitch was released.
In slow pitch, though, they can't leave
Well,
until the ball.
I mean, okay, so basically, if we're in the game of fast pitch, but you know,
Right.
I could have added it there too, but the question, I guess, with this is too, is there's no questions on this one. That's good. The only other thing we could have done differently with this one was if we deviated, then we would have to do what? We'd have to communicate. So that's what we'd have to look at from there. So, okay, let's move on to play 2. There's less than 2 outs. There's a runner at first base. There's going to be a bunt towards the first baseline, or in the game of slow pitch, this could be a batter that just basically just got a bit of the ball. Okay, the runner from first is advancing to third. The ball is fielded and thrown to third. What are the responsibilities and who has the play at third base? Now, keep in mind, we are in a 3-umpire system once again. So for this particular, Daryl Henderson, you are going to be the plate umpire. Nick Pulaski, you get to be the U1. And Mike Baker, you get to be U3. So think about that for a minute, and then we will come back to you and we'll talk about this play. Okay. So my plate umpire, Daryl, what is your responsibilities?
Stay with that ball close to the line.
Okay. And you will have fair and foul responsibilities, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. My U1 was, who did I say U1 was? I'm sorry.
Nick.
Okay, go ahead. Nick, what is your responsibilities going to be at this one?
I'm going to take a step or two inside the line. I'm going to watch the base runner coming towards first base for any possible interference in case the ball is thrown. Or let's see, it doesn't say who fielded the ball though, does it?
No. I will tell you the ball was fielded around the home, or around, it's close to the first baseline. So it's probably going to be the pitcher, catcher, or first baseman.
Yeah, I would be aware of possible interference with the catcher or pitcher fielding the ball. And then once the ball is fielded, if there was no interference, I would follow the runner from past first base, making sure there was no obstruction or any type of interference at first base. So.
Okay.
Also, I'd be aware too, before the bunt, I would be aware that the runner didn't leave first early too.
Okay. So Mike Baker, you're U3. You're seeing this play. What is your responsibilities going to be at this point?
I'm going to be on the first base side of second base, and I'm going to be waiting for, well, not waiting, but the runner from first base is going to be coming into second base. So I'm going to be watching for that, watching for what's going on with Nick. As that runner round second starts going to third, I'm going to be pushing Nick home if he hasn't already headed that way. And I'm going to be watching Daryl head toward third.
Okay. This is a situation here that, let's face it, we all have this in the fast pitch game where our plate umpire may be tied up taking fair foul responsibilities. If that's the case, then U3 has to be aware of what's going to happen, because can the plate umpire get from calling fair foul down the first baseline and possibly get down to third base for a play at third base? It's awful difficult. But if we have U3 who is aware of this and has already started towards third base for a possible play, then it frees up the plate umpire. So as we talked about before, this is one of the things as far as field awareness, knowing the game and studying the game. This is where we have to take an extra thing. And this is basically where we throw the manual out at this point, because the manual says the plate umpire is supposed to make that call at third base. If they're tied up with another responsibility, is it okay for one of us, for the base umpire, to have to maybe pick up and take that person to the third base if necessary? This is where we deviated, we communicate, and we also have to be aware of what's going on, and somebody has to take charge on this. So this is why I put this play in here. It's basically to get some conversation on that. Like I said, it's where we get the chance to umpire and do what we do best. So, okay, questions?
I'm sorry, I got a text. So whose call is it at third?
In this play, at this point, by the
three.
manual, it says it's a plate umpire.
Okay.
But what we're looking for here is if the ball is close to the line for fair foul responsibilities, is it possible that the U3 could take that runner into third base? For the people that do fast pitch, is it possible that they would do
Yes.
that?
Yes.
So that would be one of the things that we have to look at, is who would have that play. By the manual, yeah, it says it's a plate umpire. If the plate umpire has to worry about fair foul ball, then how can they get down to third base and make a call down there? And when and as Mike said, if you start pushing U1 to the plate, now we have another situation where we could have too many people around the area.
One
So
place.
it's basically got to be a situation that we have to read the play, be aware of what the play is going on the field. So I see Jason Jahowski, you've got your hand up.
This may have been mentioned in all of the chat, but one thing that also will delay that plate umpire is keeping track of the running lane.
Very possible, yes. But go back to, I guess the biggest thing is that we have to look at with this is what is our number one responsibility as plate umpire at this point, when the ball is
Fair-
close to the line? Is
Fair foul.
Fair foul.
So if we have something that the ball is close to the line and the person is waiting to touch it, to hopefully it will go foul, do we have to stay with that ball a little bit longer?
Absolutely.
So Ed Michalski, you have your hand up?
Yeah, a couple of things on this. When you said, all right, by the book, by the mechanic, the plate umpire has fair foul. You're going to step inside, trail slightly up the lane, watching what Jason talked about, running lane violations, obstruction, interference, that stuff there. But as Don pointed out, angle over distance, even if you don't make a big move towards third base, you still have a 90-degree angle at the play at third base. And the question I have about the U3 coming across to take that at third base, wouldn't that put him into a throwing lane, or would he just see asses and elbows as the throw comes in?
And Ed, I was thinking about that and what I would be
Stay
doing
outside.
in this case.
Hang on, guys. Keep this in mind. Where's the ball at?
Inside.
Inside. So we're going to stay outside, right?
Right, but I would be on the first base side of the second baseman.
But you
Ah.
So if he turned and cut towards third, and I saw that Darryl was tied up, I would angle to the outside of the second base, third base line, so that I could be on the outside of the call and not be in the throwing lane.
Well, I'm just going to add one more thing to this for you guys. In a situation where we have a runner at first base, and for the fast pitch umpires especially, when we have a runner at first base and we have a bunt and they throw the ball to first, what's going to be the possible next play if they throw the ball back to second base? It's going to be a runner going rounding second, coming back into the tag at second. So wouldn't we want to be, could we be on the outside side of the shortstop side? As the throw goes, we would then come around to our right and pick up our 90 degrees at that point. Follow what we're saying here?
Yeah.
Yes,
Still
but
be on
my starting position would be on the first base side of second base.
And that's the thing is that we're already thinking about our play, pre-pitch planning there. So if we have a bunt, they throw the ball to first, the next play could be at second base on a throwback. So wouldn't we want to be maybe on the shortstop side? So now we have keep all four elements in front of us.
Sure, swing around
Yep.
second base to be on that
And
first
now,
base, second
Mike,
base.
take that
extended,
one
yeah.
step farther. If you're already on that side because you're anticipating a play there and you're going with the runner, think about this, all you fast pitch umpires out there. You've seen this play. You've watched it from behind second base. It's just because it's on paper right now, we're not visualizing it. So think about this. Once that play starts developing, you can tell whether that runner is going to go stay at second base or if they're going to keep on going to third. And if that's the case, you just keep on moving with them. Okay. And once we get in one, yeah.
If I may add, Brian, because I was going to suggest the same thing you were talking about, and that is that first base umpire doesn't release to go home until that runner starts heading towards third. And so therefore that first base, U2 is going to be, U1 is going to be in charge of that runner still at first base until he is absolutely forced to go home, forcing U3 to go up the line and cover third base. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically, like I said, folks, you folks, the fast pitch people, they do this, we do this all the time. And it's just a matter now of you see it on paper here and you've just got to visualize what you would do when the game actually started in a 3-umpire system. And if we were on the field, on the dirt, all of you would be basically doing what you have to do. Yeah. And, Larry just put it right there, best right there. If you're reading the play, you should be moving with the runner from the very beginning. So read the play and it will tell you. Doesn't matter if the throw is from the outfield or the infield. That wasn't part of what I put on there.
Yes, it does.
Well, no, I actually added that because I think
Okay.
sometimes we have a tendency as a plate umpire, if the throw is coming from the outfield, we hesitate and want to tend to stay home more. Because especially in this play, if Nick was waiting to see if he had responsibilities at second, and then Baker took the call at third, then we have a plate umpire that may have to cover home instead of waiting for his first base umpire to get there, because obviously they're not going to make it in that play.
Basically, folks, keep this in mind. If U3 is taking that runner to third base, does a plate umpire have to go up to third base at this point? No, you've deviated. Communicate. So plate umpire would stay up at the plate. U1 would stay now, take the responsibility of the batter runner if the batter runner was safe. So like I said, if we were on dirt, you guys wouldn't have a single problem with this if we were on dirt. But because it's on here and it's March 7th and we're still not all of us are thinking of ball games, that's what it boils down to. So, okay, we'll move on to the next one here. This is play 3. This one here is basically what we're looking at. Is the umpire in a good position to make a fair foul call on this play?
No.
So, but the other thing I'm going to add to this is I want you all to look at the umpire and just think about for a minute, if he was in a normal position and where his left foot is, he was basically coming out of his stance and maybe taking a step to his left. Now what he did is basically now he's a little bit farther behind the play. If he takes a step up, basically he can get to the line. And that's what we need to work on basically is think about working on balls that are hit close to the line instead of taking a normal step to your left to get out of your crouch. Go take a step right up out of it and go to the line, because at this point the line is the most important thing on a fair or foul ball. Okay. Okay, here we go. You are primarily a fast pitch umpire, and for clinic purposes, you and 2 other umpires who are both primarily slow pitch umpires have been asked to demonstrate the 3-umpire system. So you should decline, since the 3-umpire system for fast pitch is different than slow pitch. B, you quickly go to the umpire manual to brush up on the slow pitch 3-umpire system. C, you go out to the field, pull your partners together, remind them that we need to communicate on the field. The 3 of you demonstrate then the 3-umpire system diagrammed in the manual without an issue. So which one do you think is the correct answer here?
C.
C.
B.
C?
I heard 1A.
1A? Well, folks, I pulled this on the, at the national school we were at a couple weeks ago. I put a fast pitch umpire and 2 slow pitch umpires out there, and the person looked at me and they said, this is a slow pitch play. I don't do slow pitch. I says, it's a 3 umpire system. We're the same. And then they caught on that we are the same. So the 3 umpire system has not changed. Even when in slow pitch, when we started off the line, what did we do when we went to a 3 umpire system? We went back to the line. So the slow and fast pitch 3 umpire system is the same. And for modified, if somebody wants to get technical with that too, all of them are the same. There is no difference as far as our 3 umpire system. Okay. This is a play here.
I want to ask a question real quick.
I'm sorry.
How hard is it to show or to teach? And I mean this seriously. I'm not saying it jokingly for the slow pitch guys, but how hard is it for? Do they do a lot of 3 pitch or 3-man in tournaments in slow pitch?
Yeah, we do the same in our state tournaments as we do in fast pitch.
Okay, I'm not aware of that because I don't do slow pitch, but
right.
I didn't know whether that was something that they needed
right. And
well,
then
that you need to teach them.
You guys can correct me wrong. The guys that have gone to the slow pitch nationals, I believe all of them are 3 umpire system from C on up. Am I correct with that?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. All right.
The other part of that I would add, Brian, in the slow pitch game, when you're working 3 umpire system, you have a whole lot more opportunity for rotations than you do in.
I will tell you that many years ago, for the people that know Dick Ribby, he came out and worked slow pitch one night with me at Sharp Park because he wanted to get down to a 3 umpire system. And after one game, I think he was done. So he said that was enough of that stuff. So
it is surprising at the national level how many other umpires from other states who get that far don't know or aren't fully appreciative of what the 3-man system is and can do it.
Right.
Good. So the Michigan umpires that all go to the national level that I've worked with are all excellent and can do it really well.
And that's one of the reasons why we're out there. And it goes back probably something I should have covered at the beginning. When you're coming from Michigan and you go to a tournament, you are basically looked at as a leader on and off the field. And basically you are expected to know, as Matt said, the 3 umpire system to help out. So this picture here is basically just disregard the batter's stance up in the top part of the photo there. The way I had to get this, I couldn't cut that out, but anyhow, what it basically boils down to is it's a pass ball. We have no idea where the ball is. The plate umpire doesn't know. And we, as our umpires, and what we look at, especially in Michigan and being an elite umpire, we have to work on knowing where the ball is at all times. And that's why we work on our tracking part of that. So, okay. Work on your tracking, knowing where the ball is, even in slow pitch and fast pitch, know where that ball is, because if there's nothing worse when the catcher gets the ball and goes to throw it back to the pitcher and it hits you in the back of the head because you weren't paying attention to it. So, okay. Play 4. In the rule book, what is the rule that details the powers and duties of an umpire? Is it A, Rule 1, B, Rule 5, C, Rule 10, D, Rule 12?
10.
I
may say 1. Anybody say 1?
I say 1.
Okay. How about Rule 5?
Yep.
Okay, we have 1 for Rule 5. How about Rule 12? Okay, how about Rule 10?
Yeah.
Everybody says Rule 10? Okay, can anybody tell me what Rule 1 is?
Definitions.
No. The field.
Rule 1 is a field. I think we covered this in Back to Basics, didn't we, Bob?
Yeah.
Rule 1 is definitions. Anybody know what Rule 12 is?
Use
Use of
of,
USA softball playing rules.
I believe Rule 12 is protests.
That would be incorrect. It's use of
Okay.
USA softball playing rules.
All right. Rule 5.
that's the game.
Okay, and Rule 10 is our powers and duties. Okay, very good. Got you thinking about that one already, didn't we? All right, next one, Ross, go ahead. I thought I seen a question. Did we have a question there earlier?
Brian, did you have a question? No, I didn't.
No,
By the
Brian
way,
here.
protest is Rule 9.
Okay. I'm sorry, what, Mike?
I said protests are Rule 9.
Okay,
I don't
play
think there
5,
was-
doesn't matter which game. Go ahead, Ross. Less than 2 outs. Single runner at second base. Fly ball to left field, U3 chases. Ball is caught, runner advances to third base. There is a throw to third base for a play. By the manual, who has a call at third base? So the question would be, we've got this here. Who, by the manual, would it be the plate umpire that has a call at third base?
Oh,
No.
It would be U1, right?
Hang on,
'Cause
hang
U1
on,
would assume
hang on. I want to know how many say plate umpire. I've got one already said plate umpire. How many say base umpire?
base umpire.
Base
Base
umpire.
umpire.
Okay, keep this in mind. Who has the last runner on the field? The base
Base
umpire,
umpire.
right? So our manual says that the plate or the base umpire will have this call at third base. Unless there's a deviation, if we deviate, then what do we have? We must communicate, correct? So keep this in mind. If U3 chases on a fly ball left field and we're working the game of slow pitch, our base umpire has to come in quite a ways to get into position and take that runner all the way to third base. So basically what they should be doing, number one, is they should be coming in before the ball is, while the ball's up in the air. And then if the plate umpire is a nice person that night, they could always call off U1 coming across the diamond, but they must deviate and communicate. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, a couple other things that I'm going to add on here, what we also look for in the elite umpire. We're going to go round this up here real quick. One of the other things that we look for in the elite umpire is when we ask them to take care of some paperwork as far as in regards to tournament agreements, contracts, getting back to us on whether they're available for a tournament. If we have to call them 2 or 3 times to remind them to get us paperwork, then that's not what we're looking for. The other thing is this came into a situation a few years back. We have a default uniform. It's gray pants and powder blue shirt. At this time, the umpire decided that they wanted to wear gray pants and a navy blue shirt. The umpire they were working with did not have that because they were fairly inexperienced, fairly new, and said all they had was powder. The umpire at that point, the veteran umpire, instead of offering another blue shirt to this individual or basically saying, hey, I'll change to a powder then since you don't have it, decided that it was time to ridicule the other umpire because they did not have all the proper uniforms. This is not what we look for in our elite umpires. We should be helping our younger umpires and our less experienced umpires instead of ridiculing them because they didn't have all the uniforms. So please keep that in mind. If you do see something like this come up in the future, please let me know or let one of our staff members know because we need to have a talk with that individual. So, okay, I think we're just going to wrap up with some of the things here. This is basically giving 100% all the time. We want to make other umpires better by being an elite umpire. We should be able to make other umpires better. We want to be a teacher on and off the field. And what we mean by that is being able to help out with the less experienced or even the veteran umpires on maybe what they're not doing correctly, or maybe they have a situation on their plate game that they're missing a pitch or so, that we can help them out with that. The other thing is you want to be a leader on and off the field. You want to be somebody that these individuals can talk to and help. You can help them get better and let them be comfortable when they come to you. And so you're more or less receptive to what they have to say. It's someone that we can build a crew around. This is a big thing. As we already said, if you go out of state at a national tournament, and at the national tournament, basically the UIC is going to look at that, see that you're from Michigan, they're going to build a crew around you. We look at the same thing at our level. To be an elite umpire, we should be able to build a crew around you. When we look at our umpires for that tournament, we should be able to say each individual that is an elite umpire, we should be able to add 2 or 3 other people to that crew, and they will be able to lead that crew on and off the field. It's got to be somebody that umpires can watch and learn from. So what you do on the field and how you do it on the field is other umpires can pick up from you. Or if they come up afterwards and go, hey, I noticed that you did this on this one play. Why did you do it? You can explain to them what you're looking for in that game situation. Umpires look up to you as far as once they know that you're an elite umpire and have worked the highest level of competition, they look up to you. You're always being watched. And as we already said, you're being watched on and off the field. You're being watched by the people that are not elite. You're watching by other elite umpires. And because basically if you're not there on time, if you're not doing the things that you're properly doing, then the other ones go, hey, I want to be like this person. They're a elite umpire and they don't have to do those things. You are the ones that will be training our future umpires. Let's face it, the next generation of umpires are going to be up to you to train. You're a USA softball umpire and a Michigan umpire. So we expect you to be a leader on and off the field. You are the best of the best, and that is why you're an elite umpire. And I believe the next one is, okay, this is what we have. For everybody that was on this call tonight, you do not have to send these questions to me. These are only the ones that are watching the video sessions, the recorded sessions. They will have to send this to me at the email address on there. Okay. I will open it up for a few questions and we will go from there. Do we have any questions?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, David.
We've all heard the comment, I'm sure that they say a really great umpire is one you don't notice on the field, right? That's one saying that I've never agreed with. To me, if you are a great umpire, an elite umpire, you should be noticed on the field. You should be where people are whether it be spectators or coaches or players, they're saying to themselves, wow, there's an umpire. We want him. And next time they see you, they say, hey, they might even say, thanks, play. It's good to see you. This is the kind of umpire we want. We want to be noticed, not because we're showboats. We're noticed because we're good umpires. Not
100%, Dave.
That's what I want to add to this comment.
100% agree with you, Dave.
Yes.
But you have to walk a thin line between you want to be noticed, but you don't want to be the show.
Exactly.
Dave, that's a good explanation point on what we've covered tonight. So that's really good, positive aspects there. So keep that in mind. And yes, you do want to be noticed a little bit especially for a lot of our umpires, because they want to move up, and the way to get noticed is what they do on and off the field. The other umpires will make note of it. They'll let us know, and we notice it too. So, and as David said, when the ball players see you come to the field, they know they're going to get a great game called that night because they've seen you work before. So I just basically wanted to say thank you for all you do for our USA of Michigan program. For the folks that do not realize this that are on this call, the Michigan program has excelled at the national level for many, many years. And it's because of the people that we had in the past. It's what we have now in the present. And it's also because of what you folks will do for us in the future. So we thank you. Keep the Michigan program going strong. It is because of what you do on and off the field that makes our program what it is today. And I would like to thank all of you for attending this session. and enjoy your evening. We will look forward to next week. We will have on Sunday night, as Ross said, at 6 p.m. We will have the slow pitch session. And at 7 p.m., which is different than what was originally started off to be, at 7 p.m., we will be going into a fast pitch modified session. So once again, thank you for all being here tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully in a very short time, we'll all be on the field together. Okay? Take care, everybody.
Just one last reminder, if you've not already placed your name into chat, please make sure you do so you can get proper credit for attending today.
Oh, snap, forgot about that.
I gotcha.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. State staff will stay on for a couple minutes afterwards.